Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for your company. I'd like you to please welcome our next guest, a guy who's been making us laugh for years, Tony Martin.
Thank you.
Now, one of the reasons you're here, Tony, is because your book has been put into its second print run. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, all the typos have been corrected. No, people hate typos.
Now, I've been watching you for years, but I didn't realise that you were a Kiwi.
Yes, I'm afraid I've lost the accent.
Yep.
Occasionally, after a few drinks, I will say something like hideously disfigured, which is a giveaway. Or I might refer to full linnet from Thin Lizzy. Or Griffin's biscuits with a thin bit of mint filling. It comes out after a few.
You're talking about
How would you say my name? Because I find the E's are always, the soft E's are different.
Greg Pripps.
Yeah, Greg.
I think.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg. G-R-I-G,
Yeah.
I guess.
Now, as a child, you were bullied a lot. You
I
were
was.
kind of, you know...
Can you believe that? Why didn't they cast me as Thor? That's what I'm always asking.
You write about it to much hilarity in the book. Can you describe some of those incidents?
Well, bullying, I remember people just, nerds. Were you a nerd, Greg?
Well,
at
I was
school?
what we call butt dragged quite a lot as a grade school.
What's that?
Right.
That's when they grab you by the legs and drag you across the lawn, because
Yeah.
I was about 4'11" until I was about 16 years old. So,
Really?
yeah.
We had that. I had a way... I was known around the school for being able to draw the Superman logo perfectly. So I would sometimes be trapped by bullies and given, like, a minute to draw it absolutely perfectly, and then I'd be let off. The nerds, the bullies, I think, were nerds themselves.
I've read your book and I absolutely loved it. Was it difficult to come up with that many little vignettes, or did they just come out when you started?
You just remember. I mean, I think everyone just remembers weird things. And I remember I've done a lot of college. I think you've done amateur, well, certainly professional theatre.
Yes, which sometimes is amateur, particularly if I'm in it.
But everyone remembers things going wrong in amateur theatre plays.
Absolutely.
I've been in plays where there's the audience there and I can feel a spider coming out of a jacket that's been hanging up. I once saw a play, see if you can imagine this, a play where two people had to have a sword fight with only one sword. Can you imagine how that
It was
done?
budget cuts.
Somebody had stolen one of the swords, and so they decided, right, here's how we'll fix it. You go and stand in the wings with a broom, and half the sword fight was happening off stage, and then it went into the wings, switch over, come back out. I was once in a play of Julius Caesar where somebody got stabbed in the back. You know, you have those retractable blades.
Yes, yes.
Someone stabbed them in the back, and then it sprung out into the audience. There's nothing funny. So things like that you remember 20 or 30 years on.
Tell us about your career in radio.
Yes.
You said, speaking of stabbing in the back, you know,
You know how it works.
Yes.
I don't really, but Chrissy's given me a bit of an insight. But yeah,
Right.
you seem like,
Brutal old biz.
you seem like
of
such a
course.
nice
Yes.
guy.
Well, I think did you work for the Austereo network? I think
No, never Austereo.
there's a
always
lot
the
of
other
us who
one,
have been sacked from there. We actually, there's a march on Anzac Day, I think, for ex-Austereo employees.
Why do you think it is in that industry specifically that it's always so sudden and quick and cruel?
Well, our show is different from a lot of other shows. I don't think many people have been sacked for talking about Steven Seagal for 13 minutes. I would come in and go, couldn't you just talk about the Veronicas for a couple of minutes? People don't want to hear about On Deadly Ground again. And we maintain they did.
But you
That's
see,
the one where he wears the giant thing, the wigwam, because he's gained so much weight and he's it's for the Eskimos.
And that's the one where at the end he just, I think, turns to the camera and does a 10-minute speech about the environment.
And Michael Caine plays an American in that
That's
one.
right.
if Greg Proops was your boss, you'd still be on radio.
I got nothing but time to talk about Steven Seagal, but
You know he has his own energy drink.
does he? Marked for fun? Or
You can order it on the internet. He's got 2 flavours of energy. It's called Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt Energy Drink. Now, who's ordering a drink on the internet? I mean, you're going to have to know that you're going to be thirsty quite a while in advance, I think, to order it. But you
you're
can
just going to die of dehydration before it arrives.
So I don't remember you got fired for that.
That was part of it. It was just, it was felt that even though our show was the most popular show The phrase we were told is you're bringing in the biggest audience on the network, but it's not the audience we want. I was going, well, you're seeing your ratings. I think you should be happy with any audience at this point.
So
Wow.
you've done radio. I mean, you've done everything.
My motto is, why do one thing properly when you can do a number of things with middling success?
Do you have a favourite? Is there something that comes really easily to you?
Well, radio is actually the best because you just think of something and you say it. You don't have to have things built or made or
And you don't have to dress up.
No, that's right.
Yes.
Tracky dacks.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
No, it's fantastic. But you didn't, did you have a girl on your show?
No, it was three very girlish men, really.
I see.
Myself, Ed Cavalier and Richard
Because
Marsden.
it's always the woman who gets, in Australian radio, it's always the woman who gets fired first. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
It's always
Right.
the woman.
Yes, I noticed that.
Often the woman is just...
Not that we're bitter.
Well, often it's just someone who was a receptionist who was heard giggling at something and they put her on
go,
air
"Oh,
to
she'll
laugh
be
at the
good."
men's jokes.
Exactly,
That's often
yes.
how it works.
That is absolutely true. Can we just get back to the
Yes.
book, though?
Yes. Sorry.
Before it gets defamatory.
You write a lot about your family in this, and I know the book's been out for a while, but can you tell us how they feel about being exposed thus?
I have heard nothing. I sent out copies of that book a year and a half ago and nobody has got back to me.
They haven't read it yet.
No. Well,
Or they've read it and they're just a little miffed.
We have a very complicated and ugly family tree. The council have twice told us to prune
the
it
ugly
back.
tree.
It's very hard to follow. I have something because my mum's been married a number of times and my dad's been married more than once, and I don't know if you...
So they like people.
That's right. But then, because they've remarried and then they've had kids and then there's more kids, it splays outwards. And I think I've got something like 35 half-brothers and sisters, and we would literally have to have stickers with introducing if we had a family
Hi, my
reunion.
name is.
I imagine it would be really hard to find a cut-off point of caring. Do you know what I mean? Like,
presents
I sort of,
and
I
sweetheart at
care for the...
Christmas.
I don't really... You're too far away now. I don't care for you anymore.
No, that's
Too
right.
many.
We've had to lose a few.
Yeah, it was more like a family trellis than a family tree.
It was. It's
Sideways.
hard to get it all down.
Really lovely to meet you. Please give a very big
you.
thank you to the marvellous Tony Martin.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.